Hello and welcome to UC Today. We are back for another big UC update. Today I'm joined by Jeannie Arthur, MD of Dstny for service providers. Welcome Jeannie, how are you?
Thank you very much. I'm good, thank you. Very, very nice to be here.
Fantastic. So today we're going to be talking all about Dstny and of course a little bit about yourself as well, Jeannie. It's a great opportunity to really get underneath the bonnet, learn a bit more about yourself and your history, and also about Dstny and the kind of path of travel there. So let's get into some questions, Jeannie. Let's start with some personal questions. I wanted to find out a little bit more about yourself. Could you share a bit about your professional background?
Of course. So my background actually is pretty varied. I would talk about myself as a B2B SaaS entrepreneur. So I've actually worked in B2B SaaS now for probably best part of 20 years, but done that in a variety of different industries. So it's only really been this last 4 or 5 years that I've been within the telco and the unified communications space.
Wow. So B2B SaaS. Well, let's find out a little bit more about you then. You know, what are some fun facts about that highlight sort of a bit about you or some of your achievements along that sort of 20-year
Yeah.
SaaS career?
Oh goodness. So I think from a career perspective, yeah, 4 or 5 different SaaS businesses in different sectors. So everything from big data and e-commerce to financial services to insurance. So I've worked really across a whole variety of industries. And I think for me, the thing that excites me about B2B SaaS is just being able to solve for a set of problems that a set of users have got and being able to do that in a really scalable way. And I just love, and for me, 4 years ago now, I joined Mark and Richard in what was then Qnify with Call2Teams. And we were in the right place at the right time. Mark and Richard had done a great job with creating a product that was globally scalable. And we had a few customers, but then we're there with this amazing product just at the right time when the pandemic hit, which obviously we couldn't have really foreseen in our go-to-market strategy, but worked really well for us. And I think to have a SaaS product that you can just scale so quickly, from literally 10,000 to 1 million users in just a bit over a year on a global basis. I mean, just that is, that for me is pretty cool. So I get very excited about just B2B SaaS and just solving different problems. So yeah, a bit geeky about using data, using technology, and trying to do that at scale and at pace.
What does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, I'm not so sure there's such a thing as a typical day in my world. It's pretty varied. I run a global team, so I'm quite often in different places. I'm at home in London today, but actually I travel a lot, probably 50 or 60% of my time. So there's just where I am it changes quite a lot, whether that's in Brussels, in the Netherlands, in Stockholm, or in the US. I think that I do have, when I'm at home, I do have a little dog. So walking the dog, that's usually how my day starts. But beyond that, that's probably the most regular thing in my day is walking the dog. The rest of it is, there's obviously a lot of people things with my own management team, with the executive team for Dstny as a whole. And then it just, there's the usual kind of cadence that you have within the business, setting budgets, delivering against the plans, and then, launching products, dealing with customers. I love spending time with customers when I can as well. So yeah, it's pretty mixed really.
Fantastic. So, Jeannie, let's talk a little bit more about the company side of things now. Give us your best elevator pitch. How would you describe your company in a nutshell? And maybe you can distinguish a bit between, obviously, you've got Dstny for service providers and then Dstny, a sort of group as well. Give us your elevator pitch.
Okay, so I think so Dstny Group. So we are smart business communications. We have footprint in 6 different countries. so France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark and Sweden. And in those countries we sell direct and indirect to partners and or through the channel, and to end users with Dstny IP, and then some third-party IP as well in some of the countries. And then those are slightly separate to what we sell and the relationship we have with Dstny for service providers, which is the bit that I run, which is to sell technology and products and services directly to service providers, who then obviously have their own go-to-market with those. And I think specifically for service providers, then our role is to make it easy for the service providers, to try and take all of the complexity out of the products, the onboarding, the provisioning of different types of solutions, make that easy for them. Yeah, I think that's the key elevator pitch.
And what's unique about your company culture?
So somebody asked me the other day, I was doing an interview the other day for somebody to potentially join the organization, and they asked me what to describe the culture in 3 words. And the 3 words I said were fun, challenging, and empowering. So actually, we do have a fun. Like I really enjoy. Like I love the people I work with. I laugh several times every day, and I love that. There's lots of work to do. There's lots of. It is challenging. We're trying to. We have a very varied product portfolio with products that are all sorts of different stages of maturity. We have different things in different countries. We have multiple deployment models. So it is challenging. And it is a complex environment, but it is empowering. Actually, I think that you can see a problem, you can go and fix it, and I like that. So for me, that combination of fun, being challenging, but also being empowered to make a difference is what is key for me.
Great. So obviously along the way, I'm sure there's been lots of accolades and awards and things. Maybe you could highlight some of those more recent awards or accolades that your company's received.
Yeah. So just actually, so one of the so from an analyst perspective, one of the people that we work with and have just actually released another award is Frost and Sullivan. So they have their radar, their Frost radar. So we are well positioned in that in terms of top right. I always want to be top right in any quadrant. So that's good. We've just had a new version of that's come out, and it's shown our progress, particularly on the innovation side. Obviously, we've won some awards with you guys, with UC Today. Best UC provider in EMEA, we're finalist on that. And then previously, we've obviously had some awards around our Call2Teams and integration awards. And then we've had Deloitte 20 Fast 50, so the fastest growing communication companies in 2023. SaaS Awards, a global best new entrant for some of our SaaS products. So some within the telco industry, but obviously more broadly UC and just more broadly in SaaS space as well.
Wow. Well, congratulations. And it's great to see you picking up awards, not just with UC Today, but elsewhere as well, which is great. So, Jeannie, you spoke a little bit about your go-to-market approach already. Let's dive into that a little bit more. How do you approach the market? And maybe you could delve into some of your partner ecosystem and go-to-market strategies sort of within that.
Yeah. So I'll talk really focus around it from a service provider perspective rather than what's done in the countries. So from a service provider, we obviously have different sets of products. So we have our integrations products, so particularly Call2Teams, the core and our original direct routing solution. We then have Call2Teams Go, which enables the end user to have a native Teams calling experience without having to have a Microsoft phone system license. Then we have Operator Connect, which again is related to Microsoft and our Carrier Automate product. And then as still early days, but we have some proof of concepts coming in Converge and FMC. So we have so on the Microsoft side, we have a set of products that we work with UC, the cloud UCaaS vendors. So obviously a number of the big ones that everybody we would know. So we work with them to provide their Teams calling parts of their products. Then on the UCaaS side, we have our original sort of UCaaS offering within Dstny, and that is we sell that into MNOs, so that they can provide a business communications solution to end users through their channel. So we have different types of products. We have different target segments for those products. We also have, we work globally. So the UCaaS, we have our footprint mostly for that at the moment is in Europe, whereas our integrations projects is fully globally. So we have, full 24/7 geo-redundant infrastructure in all sorts of different places to support a global product. So we have quite different segmentation for the different products and the different geographies.
So, Jeannie, let's delve into your products and services a little bit more. Obviously, you've spoken about Call2Teams and how that's evolved. What other key kind of products and technologies? You've spoken about a few of them already, but particularly what features make them relevant in today's business environment?
Yeah. So let's start first with our sort of Microsoft products. So on the Call2Teams side, actually, as I think people know, Call2Teams has been in the market now for 3 or 4 years, and we had an initial product, the core kind of direct routing product, and that is, we've continued to evolve that, not in terms of fundamentally changing what it does. It's still a direct routing product, but we've added a lot in terms of we call it zero touch provisioning. So that really makes it easy for a service provider to, without having to move between different portals, embed it within their provisioning flows. So it makes it super simple for them. So we've continued to develop the core Call2Teams product to make it easier for our service providers. Also to make sure that as the regulatory environment changes, so there are some changes around emergency calling to make sure that our service providers stay compliant. So there is always continuing landscape that means that core product gets developed further. Then we have Call2Teams Go, which enables an end user to have a native Teams calling experience without having to have a phone system license. And we see that as something that as work from home and hybrid working still remains a thing within our economy. Actually, more and more organizations do want to provide that ability for their employees to have native Teams calling whilst at home. And obviously just the general macroeconomic environment means that there's lots of organizations that would like to do that but are cost sensitive, and therefore having an option to do that without having to have the phone system licenses is useful for them. So that's been something that we've seen good take up in the last, or the year and a bit since we last launched that product. We then have on the Operator Connect side of things, obviously Microsoft has their strategies around voice are continuing to evolve, and we are kind of keeping up with those as well. So we have our Carrier Automate product that then looks at supporting operators and how they engage with Operator Connect. That will continue to evolve as we see more take up of the Operator Connect products by end users. So again, we would expect to continue to evolve that to make it better for everybody. And then Converge is our sort of newer sort of product that we're just bringing to market now. So that's really about fixed mobile convergence, and looking at, again, in terms of how that fits with the Microsoft strategy around Teams Phone Mobile, and making sure that we can bring the mobile numbers into that environment as well. So that's on the Microsoft side of things. We also then have on the UCaaS side of things, I think what makes us really different on the UCaaS side of it is really being, one, mobile native, one, being very brandable and white labelable for our service providers so that they can focus on maintaining or building and growing their brands, and making sure that they still own the customer experience around their UCaaS. So yeah, I think that's some of the key things around our products.
That's great, Jeannie. So maybe you could talk a little bit more around your implementation strategy as well, and how you're ensuring ongoing support and customer success post implementation.
Yep. So we obviously have a variety of different people within the team that have a variety of different capabilities. So usually when we start talking to service provider, we'll have somebody from our sales team, but also somebody from, we call them product sales specialists. So people that have really deep technical knowledge about whatever the product it is that we're talking to that specific service provider about. So they will get involved before the sale, but then they will also guide that service provider through the onboarding process to the point that they're ready to go live with that particular product. We then also, as we're going through that onboarding process, we also have customer relationship managers that they then would work with that service provider to talk about how they're going to do the launch, how they're going to activate the products, and really how that our products will become part of their sales strategy to really, drive the value and make sure that everybody is generating value from the products that we're providing for that service provider.
So you've got a rich heritage of innovation, Jeannie, and I'm really interested in this. Obviously, we've talked about Call2Teams, how that's evolved, then Operator Connect, and then more recently the FMC kind of product. Um, Maybe you could describe your approach to that innovation in your process for whether it's gathering feedback or generating those sort of new ideas. How do you go about
Yeah.
that?
So it's actually something that we've made a few changes on in terms of how we work internally around this. I think the heritage of Dstny, we have lots of entrepreneurs, like me. We have lots of entrepreneurial people, but that we also need to provide our products at scale. And I think one of the things that we've really recognised in the last probably year or so is that actually usually the capabilities and the cadence with which you do things is actually quite different if you've got a new idea of something that the market might want in 6 months or 12 months or 18 months versus actually really running something that's business as usual for a product that's got 2 or 3 million plus users. See that we need different people, different motions to do that. So what we've done is to actually organize ourselves slightly differently, where we now have we have core teams that are focused on providing the business as usual, turning the handle on our big global products, versus actually having a team that is dedicated to really incubating and finding new ideas for new products. And so we call it an incubation lab, but then it's sort of, I think about it a bit more like intrapreneurs, where we try and recreate that environment of a smaller team that are working very closely with individual service providers, ideally with end customers as well, to really understand the use cases, the problems they're facing, where we can really provide value, and then doing that discovery piece in a kind of very entrepreneurial way, ideally not even building anything, to really start testing the propositions. So to try and get a bit quicker about our innovation. So I think that's one side, is about actually how we do innovation internally and how we organize ourselves. I think the other thing is that we are going to be exploring over the next probably 6, 12, 18 months is to look at building out a broader ecosystem of partners and thinking about how we engage with different partners for different things, to enable us to get to market quicker with some broader propositions. So it may be that actually we work with, a small startup that has a specific capability in a niche area within AI, or that has a specific, feature that we think is relevant for the US market, but not relevant for the European market. Again, can we find somebody to partner with in the US rather than in Europe? So we're looking at how we expand our approach to innovation to, again, back to that frost radar, in the magic in the quadrant, or we still want to be pushing up that innovation spectrum. It's what we're known for, and we want to keep building that.
And of course, it's all about grasping those opportunities as well. Coming down the line. From your perspective, looking through your kind of lens, what is the big opportunity for you in the industry right now?
Um, I think well, there's lots of opportunities. It's just more of a problem of focus rather than opportunities. I think obviously everybody is talking about AI, and I think we're still, maybe at the beginning of the hype cycle. But I think it's clear that there are a number of use cases where AI and AI agents are going to become really useful. So I think in terms of where do I, like everybody else, I think actually AI will become a core part of what we do. So I think we continue, the opportunities for us are still in the Microsoft space, voice enabling Microsoft Teams. We see other collaboration opportunities with Cisco, with Zoom, and looking about how we do those globally. And then I think, yeah, we also see informal contact center or informal customer engagement. I think from a product perspective, that will become, again, there's lots of people talking about that as well. So I think, yeah, continuing to build on our existing product portfolio in the Microsoft and UCaaS space, looking at informal customer engagement, and then the AI story as well.
And well, let's end on a kind of a future-looking question as well. And I think I know what you might say, but what technology do you think will have the most significant impact on businesses, over the coming years before 2030, let's say? I won't lead you anymore. What do you think?
I think the obvious answer is AI, isn't it? I mean, I think that it's fundamentally, it's already fundamentally changing how we work, and I think that from a communication perspective, that's fundamentally where we are. I think that the challenge is going to be how we best use technology, and that will continue to evolve rapidly at pace. How do we harness that technology in a way that works for our customers, but also works for people at a human level as well? Actually, we still need, technology is never going to do everything. So how do we help people engage with it in the right way and provide the tools for them to do that?
Yeah, I think you're right, and maintaining some of that human-to-human connection as well through AI, I think is going to be really important.
Yeah, and I think it's that kind of, we need to. I think that, for me, one of the things that personally I'm interested in is around, is about people and about actually the problems they have, and actually what you want at one point in time and how you want to engage with the brands you buy stuff from, or the people that you work with. When you want to engage with them 1 minute in one way, and another minute, in another way, because this thing you want to talk to them about is different. So I think that optionality and maintaining that ability to create human connections and to create the right type of connection at the right point in time, is going to be really important. And I think from a technology perspective, that means it means that we have to have that really in-depth understanding of our customers and our users, becomes almost more important, than the fancy whizzy bit of shiny technology, that we might be able to build on. So I think that shift from being technology led to being people led, and being customer led in terms of our journeys and the products we build, is going to be increasingly important.
Jeannie, I think that's a great place to end today's discussion. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your update.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. You've been watching me, David Dungay, on UC Today. If you like today's big UC update, please give us a like and a share on social media. That's it from me. See you next time.